All right, folks, so this is it. This is the last segment, of course, before we get election results. Now, I say that, but then again, I may end up doing a live stream later on this evening, so make sure you're paying attention to what's happening here at Ring of Fire. I know there's going to be a lot of progressives, on YouTube doing live streams. I promise you, mine's going to be more fun, so keep an eye out for that. But this is the last real segment I'm doing before we get those election results. And I just had to include it. This, of course, is another Donald Trump meltdown. Because this entire campaign has basically been one meltdown after the other from Donald Trump from day one. Melting down about 2020, melting down about criminal charges, melting down about trials, melting down about lawsuits, melting down about polls, melting down about Fox News. Everything you could imagine, this man has had a meltdown about. We've talked about it for the 2 years he's been running for president. So it's only fitting that we end this campaign season with a Donald Trump meltdown. And this one, of course, happened over the weekend when Donald Trump got that horrific news from the Seltzer poll showing that he was losing the red state of Iowa by 3 points to Vice President Kamala Harris. The Seltzer poll, of course, excuse me, that was weird, is one of the most reliable pollsters ever. So Trump, of course, didn't take the news very well when it was revealed that you're losing a red state by 3 points to Kamala Harris. And he got on Truth Social, his failing social media platform, and said this: "No president has done more for farmers," which he put in all caps for some reason, "and the great state of Iowa than Donald J. Trump. In fact, it's not even close. All polls, except for one heavily skewed towards Democrats by a Trump hater who called it totally wrong the last time, have me up by a lot. I love the farmers, and they love me. The Just Out Emerson poll has me up 10 points in Iowa. Thank you." You want to go down this path? You want to talk about what you did for farmers? A record number of farming bankruptcies, the likes of which this country has not seen since the Dust Bowl. That's on you. That was on you and the tariffs that you placed on goods coming in from China, which they then placed retaliatory tariffs on goods from the United States, causing farmers to end up not being able to sell their crops. The crops were rotting. And this is something that I have researched extensively, by the way. So don't quiz me on this topic. I know everything I'm doing here. We ended up, get this crap, we ended up in Donald Trump's last 2 years in office, 2019 and 2020, as the 2020 election was obviously approaching. Donald Trump, knowing his trade wars had hurt farmers so badly, including in Iowa, decided to start sending out direct cash payments to farmers. Like, not subsidies, not tax breaks. The federal government under Donald Trump, and he was signing his name at the bottom, of course, sending direct checks to farmers just to keep them afloat because his policies hurt them so badly. We ended up as a country spending more on farmers, direct payment to farmers those last 2 years of his administration than we did on military weapons. And you know we spent a lot on military weapons. I'm not talking about the whole DOJ or DOD, excuse me, budget, not the whole Pentagon budget, obviously. But when broken down, we spent more on weapons than we did. We spent more giving to the farmers than we did on weapons, excuse me, sorry. But that's what you did to them. So it's not really surprising that they would suddenly turn against you, right? That actually makes perfect sense. That is probably one of the most logical things I have seen throughout this entire election. You screwed these people over. Your cash payments, for a lot of them, 9% of them, came too late. They had already had to file for bankruptcy because of you and you alone. You did that to them, and they clearly haven't forgotten. Thanks for watching, everybody, and if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.